Today, we're taking a look at some of the most built different UFC fighters. They're not good at boxing. They're not good at wrestling. They just have some weird, freakish ability that makes them stupidly hard to beat.
Could you call it plot armor?
Yes, in other words, plot armor.
That is the youngins saying for built different. Plot armor.
We are getting old now.
Yeah, we're unks now. Couple of unks.
I don't even know what that means. Okay, let's get into it. I didn't do this by division or anything.
No, I just have 10 guys.
All right, that's crazy, but let's get into it. First off, the reason why I made this video, of course, his performance at UFC 311 was insane. Merab.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot beat this guy with conventional styles. Every single time you go into a Merab fight and it's like, nah, surely he's getting beat by Peter Yan, who's better at pretty much everything and who has a 5-round cardio gas tank, gets 50-45'd. And it was seeming like he rattled Merab. So everyone's going into that thinking Merab has no chance. He's under the skin. And then he gets 50-45. Same thing with Umar, you know? Nightmare.
Yeah, and then Sean, they're like, oh, he's just going to knock him out.
Yeah.
No, it just doesn't actually work. Nothing works on Merab. That was one guy, like, I kind of like ranked mine, but not that the ranking really matters. Merab was one. He's the most built different of anyone.
If you could pick like one attribute from any fighter, it would probably be Merab's cardio.
Honestly?
Because you can get decent at everything else. Like, Merab isn't a good striker. He has that, big meaty overhand that he throws.
And he's not even, like, that terrific of a wrestler.
No.
He just... Because, like, in the first couple rounds of that 311 fight, Umar was much better on the ground in terms of taking him down and grappling. But by the end of it, because his cardio is so good, he was able to be a better wrestler and a better grappler. And we're not saying that he's bad. Like, no, he's definitely, like... If we were putting this on a tier list, he'd be A or B, but he's not an S tier wrestler.
Exactly. Like, Umar hasn't been wrestling for his whole life, but he's still better than Merab because of that just Dagestan grind. It is kind of interesting, though. You see the Dagestan fighters now, Umar, Said Nurmagomedov, and Usman Nurmagomedov. They all don't have the best cardio.
They all had a tough week, too.
Yeah.
Umar lost at 311. Said lost at the fight night this last weekend. And then Usman barely snuck out that decision win.
Yeah. It's getting dicey for those guys. The fall off is crazy.
Islam's not allowed to retire.
All right. Should we move on to the next person?
Yeah. Let me go next.
All right.
My next fighter is Derek Lewis. And his thing that makes him built different is the ineffectability of jiu-jitsu on him.
I got this one as well.
Do you actually?
Yeah.
I put this in here as a joke.
I said jiu-jitsu defense. It doesn't work on him.
I put it in here as a joke. No
Yeah, I'm serious.
What?
It's true. He's built different.
I want to know how good Almeida actually is. Like, you can't tell yet. Like, beating Sergey Spivak, like...
Great fighter.
He's a great fighter.
Yeah. True. I think Cyril Gane...
His next matchup's going to be big, because it's either going to be against, like, a Cyril, Volkov, Pavlovich. Like, it's got to be one of those three guys, and it's like, what's he going to do against those guys?
I could see them doing... we'll talk about UFC Fight Night in the next... Or maybe it's already out. It's probably already out. But we talk about the matchups in heavyweight. I think Volkov versus Almeida and then Pavlovich versus Gane would be interesting because we've already seen Pavlovich versus Volkov. And those are really the only four guys who have like any level of skill in that division. Unless McParkin goes out there and KOs Marcin Tybura.
Hey, you never know.
Which would be kind of crazy.
But I think that one's like, it's like jokingly, but it's also at the same time, it's like...
It's kind of serious.
Yeah.
Because he does just stand up. And that wouldn't work in any other division except
for heavyweight.
Yeah. So let us know what you guys think of that. Also, if you guys have any other built different UFC fighters that we don't mention, drop them in the comments. Let us know who is the most built different UFC fighter.
You just stole the outro. We're going to have to come up with the booms again this week for the outro.
No, I think we lost followers because of that. Okay. Next up, let's go with another legend. RDR, Rainier de Ritter, is built different. And you know what I wrote for him?
The ugliness?
Autism base. He literally has the best base for your UFC, and it's autism. Like,
so you're saying I can be a good UFC fighter?
It's possible. You have potential. If your pain tolerance wasn't in the absolute garbage, you might be a decent UFC fighter. I know you're going to get in there crying. Young Charles Oliveira. That's what they'd call you. Anyways, Rainier de Ridder has like this weird ability to finish Kevin Holland in round 1, but go to a 3-round close fight with Gerald Mearshart. And it just really makes you think, how good is Kevin Holland? How good is Kevin Holland anymore?
Well, we'll see in about a month. He's fighting again, March 22nd, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I have some things to say about Kevin Holland in a future video. And we have a video planned where it's UFC fighters who need to go to Dagestan. I have a good reasoning for Kevin Holland to go to Dagestan.
I'm excited.
Yeah. It may be because I don't want to see him fight anymore. 2-3 years, forget.
All right. Next fighter for me, Mario Batista, because of his cage smear ability. No one can just smear out a guy on the cage like Mario Batista can. It's a cheat code in 2024. His next fight, Dana is telling that ref, he's going down there, don't let this happen.
Yeah.
He's still going to find a way.
If that counts as control time, like, he might as well.
Just do no damage. Yeah. Have every single takedown stuffed. Don't punch the guy you're fighting, but just smear him up against the cage.
Was he 0 for 11?
It was 0 for 11.
That's wild.
On takedowns. Yeah. 0 for 11. But then still gets the dub against UFC legend Jose Aldo.
Yeah. That's so wild. I hate that so much, man. I was so mad at that decision at the time. We made a full video about that.
It's built different. Cage smear ability.
Yeah, I don't love it, but you got to respect it. All right, let's move on. Next up, I got Yuri Prohaska.
Okay, he was a guy I considered, but I was like, his striking, it's just so unorthodox, but it's still good.
I more have put this for like samurai sense.
Oh.
You know? Like the head movement in the last fight that we saw at UFC, it was 311, yeah. It was kind of nutty.
He's button smashing.
Well, it's like the head movement from other guys is like kind of like, you know, a parry, you know, just a little bit of head movement, only move like just an inch off the center line. Yuri Prohaska is like ducking up and down in
stamina
massive
bar
movements.
gone.
Yeah. It's wild. Like, I don't get how he knows what's going on when his head is like so close to the ground and he's just kind of ducking and weaving. No other UFC fighter does it like him.
No, Yuri, samurai.
Yeah.
He needs to come up with his own one-word catchphrase.
Well, like instead of Shama, like something else.
What do samurais say?
Be like, oos. Oh, that's more.
That's probably racist.
No, it's not.
What do samurais say? Tofugu. Oh no, that's the name of the website. Oh, Bushido.
Oh, wait,
the
what's
way
that
of the
mean?
warrior.
Is that what that? Yeah, he should say that, bro.
Yeah,
he should.
It's Shama Bushido.
No, you gotta go more deeper into the
Bushido.
When he was talking about his favorite movies that he watched before the UFC 311
Gladiator.
fight, he's literally just like he actually lives a meme. You know what I mean?
He's like, yeah. What film did you watch before? Did you watch before your fight? I watched Gladiator too.
Like, that's so wild to me. And then and then instead of like actually studying tape on his opponent, he just studies like their face off. Like, let me not study what they actually do and like what kind of moves they throw. Let me study their aura. That's what he actually does, unironically. It's crazy.
Next he's gonna talk about what you watch in preparation. I was taking some notes from WWE.
Yeah, honestly.
All right, my next fighter on the list, a guy who's built different for his chin. Marlon Cheeto Vera. You know, he did technically get knocked down in that last fight versus Figgy, but there's no one in the UFC, I think, who has as tested as a chin as Cheeto Vera and is like held it up, you know? Max formerly had that chin, but
I'll go with someone similar for my pick. I picked Oralby for his toughness.
Picked Oralby.
Did you?
For his I put grit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
grit and toughness.
There, you can't teach that, you know? People forget, man. You can't teach toughness and grit. I've always said that. I hope he actually learns head movement, though. You know,
he's still young.
He's
25 or 26.
Yeah,
maybe younger.
No, he's 26. I think you're right, which is wild. But
because he looks like he's 800 years old.
Yeah, I just hope he doesn't I hope that's not a recurring problem that we see with him, like that swelling, because that really, I think, ruined part of his fight. Once he had that massive black eye welt.
Yeah, he's the Kazakhstani Michael Chandler as of right now.
Kazakhstani Michael Chandler.
Where's he from?
Mongol. Wait, no, he looks like. I think he might be from Kazakhstan. He looks like he's from Mongolia. Yeah, I'm not gonna look it up. He's from that.
These
region.
comments are roasting us right now. No. He's actually from America.
I think it does. No, he doesn't train in America. Sure, he eats horse meat. There's no way.
No, he trains in the mountains.
Yeah,
him and Shav.
Him and Shavkat. Yeah, they'd be buddies.
Yeah, they're fishing together.
Maybe with Bryce Mitchell.
My next guy, first time I've ever put him in a list positively, it's Joaquin Buckley. Just for his combination of like strength, power, and like speed. You know, there's very few fighters in the UFC who are like as big and strong as Joaquin Buckley are, and as fast. Like, I'm not convinced that he has like the best striking ever, even though like he knocked out Wonder Boy. Like, it's not because his striking is elite by any sense. It's good, and I mean, that's kind of what he is. He's good at a lot of things. He's a worse version of Dricus du Plessis, but he's probably a little bit faster. You know, he's like you would think that he was like an NFL like linebacker, like his pure size and speed. So that's kind of why he's built different in my mind. I don't really want to talk too much about Joaquin Buckley.
I feel like that's like, I would have labeled that as athleticism.
Yeah.
You know, he's just naturally athletic. And for a big, muscly guy, he actually has really good cardio too.
Yeah.
Like in that third round against Colby, he still looked fresh. So I think he has potential, man. I really do. I really do. All right, let's talk about Shavkat.
I didn't put Shavkat on here.
It's more, Shavkat's built differentness. It's tough to say why he always finishes fights or why he always wins. And that's why I think he does have some sort of, it's kind of aura. It used to be aura when he had all those finishes. I think he lost a little bit of it against the Ian Gary fight. But I also think it's just like finishing ability, you know? It's kind of like John Jones in the sense that they know how to look for, they see things differently almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you give up like the slightest little bit of your head or your neck, gone.
Yeah.
He'll just stand up and choke you out.
And I do feel it also comes down to being like looking for finishes throughout every single round. I feel like a lot of fighters, once they get into that fourth and fifth round, if they're up on the scorecards, kind of coast a little bit, you know, like Izzy. But with people like Shavkat,
R.I.P. Izzy,
and even John Jones, you know, they're always looking for some sort of position where they can get a finish.
Yeah,
which makes them dangerous for the entire 25 minutes. Same with you know, a Sean O'Malley, they're dangerous for the entire 25 minutes because they can KO you. But with Shavkat, it's just like he can do it on the ground, he can do it on the feet. It's just a little bit different than anyone else.
Yeah, he's just different.
Yeah,
built different. All right, my next guy, similar to Oralby, I put down another guy who's got unreal grit,
Peyton Talbot,
and toughness. Khalil Roundtree Jr. Because I wouldn't say that he's the best striker in that light heavyweight division. I think there's quite a few guys who are better strikers, but just the absolute grit he showed in that fight at 307 and his willingness to do anything. You know, like he was willing to burn out that gas tank in the first 2 rounds to try to finish Pereira.
Yeah.
And then, you know what? He was completely gassed out by the beginning of that third round, and just started losing, but he didn't give up. Yeah. You know, Jamal Hill would have been tapping out.
And imagine if it worked. Like, imagine if his game plan to just go out there and full send it actually worked. Yeah. And we think he's the best light heavyweight the world's ever seen. Oh man, it's wild.
No,
it's
but
so
like
wild.
that was like unreal grit. Like, like a performance that like, it's like, why wouldn't everyone do this? But then it's like, not everyone can do this. You know, just eat 10 minutes almost of strikes from Alex Pereira straight.
No one does that.
Without you getting to like land anything. He didn't land anything, basically. Yeah. It was just eating strikes from Pereira for 10 minutes.
Yeah. No one can survive that. Like Izzy couldn't survive it. Once Izzy was up against the cage, he got battered.
And then he
well, not that time.
I know.
I'm talking about the first fight. The second fight doesn't count.
That's not canon, especially now. Ooh.
No. And same with like Yuri and Jamal Hill. Both of them get cracked instantly. And we see how good Yuri's chin is now. It's still good against Jamal Hill. And so the fact, like, how good is Khalil Roundtree?
And like Khalil Roundtree technically didn't even get cracked to end that fight.
No.
It was just so much damage that he was like, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, I think it's that Muay Thai spirit, that Muay Thai training, because they are dogs. Like, I always wonder if a true Muay Thai fighter like Rod Tang or like Tawan Chai, if they came to UFC, how much damage could they take? Because they take so much damage in their fights. I'm like, is it a different type of damage, I just don't know. Because I don't see like UFC fighters other than Khalil Roundtree, Oralbai taking that much damage consistently.
Yeah.
Whereas a Muay Thai fight, it's every single fight. They die. And they have like 2-year career spans. Like it's wild, dude. All right, let's move on. I'm going to save that guy for last. We already talked about Derek Lewis. I'm going to talk about Anderson Silva. I feel like this is a pretty obvious one, but Silva just had ultra instinct, with the head movement.
Spider.
Yeah, the way that he was able to lean back. Izzy, I feel like that's not what he
Spidey senses.
Yeah, I know what you're doing. How did our GFL video do? I didn't check.
It's at like 800 views.
Oh, okay, so not good.
No,
but the people loved it.
It was so fun to make.
The people loved it. I know the people loved it. Go watch the GFL video if you haven't.
That video was gold.
We signed a lot of UFC fighters to the GFL. Anyways, yeah, Anderson Silva, the head movement, always on point. The striking, the counter punching. He was like, I don't want to say a better version of Izzy, but he kind of was a better version of Izzy for a longer period of time. And maybe it was the competition he was facing. I would give that some credit. But man, he was just like in the day, in his prime, when he was having title defenses, winning against Forrest Griffin, he was outclassing the entire division. I feel like Izzy still had close fights with Gastelum and like Whitaker the second time. Like Izzy still went life and death with Yoel Romero. So yeah,
but they're the same fighter.
Yeah,
Izzy's on
that downfall. Baby.
He's on that Silva downfall.
Yeah.
All right, my next guy. We're moving on to Brandon Royval. The scrappiness of this guy, the raw dog of this guy.
It's not an attribute. That is not a real attribute.
The raw dogginess.
Yeah,
that he's got that raw dog inside of. But like you think about Brandon Royval, definitely not the best striker in flyweight. He's a good striker, not the best wrestler in flyweight, but he's still ranked number 1 and could realistically give Pantoja the toughest matchup for that belt, just for his pure scrappiness. Like, he's able to get out of these grappling sequences. He just can casually hang out in that Tatsuro Taira body lock and then eventually get out and win that fight, just because this guy is so scrappy and like, it's different than like grit or like unpredictability. It's just the fact that like this dude just keep going, he just keeps on moving, keeps on going, keeps on scrapping, keeps on dogging, keeps on raw dogging.
Yeah. Another guy who goes the full 5 rounds and never stops looking for a finish.
Yeah.
Even though he's flyweight and it's kind of tough down there, but yeah. All right. My second to last person, you got to include Alex Pereira for the God-given power in that left hand.
It didn't.
That's crazy to me, but everyone knows we don't have to talk about too much. It is the equalizer that can make any fight close. If he's losing 4 rounds to Ankalaev, that 5th round, he will KO him with the left hook. I promise you that. Same thing we saw in the Yuri Prohaska fight. He maybe lost that first round. Second round, he was up against the cage. 1 left hook sits him down. It's really not fair if you think about it. Same with Jamal Hill. 1 left hook sits them down. And then we watch all these other guys fight each other. Jamal Hill versus Yuri Prohaska in that fight. Yuri Prohaska is not setting Jamal Hill down with 1 shot. He's not KOing him.
Yeah.
Maybe he sat him down 3 times or 4 times, and then he KO'd him. Alex Pereira is doing that in round 1 when he's taking no damage.
You end up on your butt, it's over.
The hammer fists are also brutal. Like, I don't think anyone hammer fists as hard as Alex Pereira
Not
does.
since Francis.
Yeah, okay. Good point.
Not since Francis.
Francis doesn't really repeat them. He does. Boom,
he does 1.
Boom. Oh, yeah. We should have put Francis in here, actually. All
right. My next guy, second to last, Bilal Muhammad. And what is his thing that makes him built different? I don't exactly know. I can't put my name on it.
It's like a spell. It's like, he casts Judge's favor at the beginning of every...
I don't know. But this guy he just built different. Like, he's not, like, if you look at that welterweight division, not the most skilled guy. And there's a lot of guys who are a lot more skilled than him. And it's like, even like the wrestling, like, I think Usman probably definitely has better wrestling than Bilal. Like, it's not like Bilal has generational wrestling. but he just gets it done. You know, sometimes he turns into Canelo against Leon Edwards.
It's true.
Like, and I don't think his strike is that good. Maybe he's like Ditto from Pokemon. He's like a shapeshifter. He's able to like mold into different fighters depending on who he's facing. But yeah, he's built different. He's got some plot armor.
I didn't know you knew Pokemon like that.
Name the whole 151 right here, right now.
No.
Yeah.
Did you actually? I didn't know you were.
Yeah, I was into Pokemon.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you were too busy with WWE.
No, this Pokemon was before WWE. You watched the Royal Rumble this weekend?
Well, I saw this clips of Speed. That was pretty wild.
I watched the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And then I came home from the gym and my dad was watching the Royal Rumble. He was spoiling it for me.
My goodness.
Hey, who else watched the Royal Rumble?
What did he think of Speed?
I don't ask him about that. He doesn't care. He's just John Cena.
He's a big John Cena
on his
guy.
retirement tour.
Dang.
You can't see me. My time is now.
Was Roman Reigns there?
Yeah.
Logan Paul?
Yep.
Cody Rhodes?
Yep.
That's about all I know. All right, last person. It's the GOAT, Drickus. He's built different. What did I put?
Oh, he's also my last guy.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. All I put for Drickus, I put like one word kind of why they're built different. For Marab, cardio. For RDR, autism. Yuri Prohaska, samurai. Oralbai, toughness. For Drickus, it's leans forward. You know that meme? Gamers, when you lean forward, like you actually start trying. This dude just decides to start trying in the 4th round and says, "All right, I'm gonna finish you." Yeah. So that's about it, really.
I put unorthodoxness and I mean his like strength and power.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. You can't. These are all unquantifiable metrics. It's like Drickus has that weird power, that weird takedown ability. When he gets you on the ground, somehow he finishes you. Like it's like Shavkat. He just finds a way to do it with less skill than Shavkat. He just like, all right, cool. Yeah. He's very chill.
Maybe it's the gain.
You can guess at what Dylan said there.
Yeah, put that down in the comments on what I just said there. And while you're down there, make sure you guys are liking, commenting, and subscribing. Like Lucas said, who is the most built different fighter in the UFC? Let us know. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
See ya.